The history and the analysis of my topic must first start with identifying that there is a problem. As this chart shows, all things being equal on $2008 checked for inflation, we see this dramatic increase in welfare spending that is just unsustainable. This will cause eventually a crash in this sort of system. Uh, it began in 1935 and was meant only to be a safety net with the Emergency Relief Appropriation Act under President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. In his 1935 State of the Union address, he said, and I quote, "The lessons of history confirmed by evidence immediately before me show conclusively that continued dependence on relief induces a spiritual and moral disintegration fundamentally destructive to the national fiber. To dole out relief in this way is to administer a narcotic, a subtle destroyer of the human spirit. It is inimical to, to the dictates of sound policy. It is a violation of the traditions of America." So with 700 plus $billion being spent, we must go back to understanding that Roosevelt, even when he started, he had his alphabet soup where he put people to work. All of his programs, they involved community service and work for a paycheck. It wasn't just a check being handed out. Slowly through the years, it has just been a quick check or rent being paid or food stamps or SNAP. I personally got this idea, not necessarily just from Roosevelt's speech, but I watched Newt Gingrich when he was running for president bring this up, that we are giving some number or some number of dollars to welfare recipients. And he said that why not, if we are giving this certain number of welfare recipients, which I'm not sure about the validity of the number that he brought up, but I am sure about the validity of his idea that if we are giving X amount to people on welfare, uh, wouldn't it be better if we trained them, if we paid for their education and got them a degree? Uh, we have something that I like to call the John Henry effect. The problem being is that technology, since the industrial age really started, has been becoming more and more automated, replacing more and more low wage workers, low skill workers with machines and technology. So, what would be the issue? What would be the problem with taking these people then and training them to the next level so that they can not just maybe not only keep their jobs or to uh, at least be able to find a job in the next skill level? This whole Trump thing about bringing these low wage jobs back is a debatable issue, but nonetheless, this is not. This is something that we can do and is being done. I'm going to go over three quick categories of a quick analysis of what is out there. Really, the first category is status quo. That's what we've had since the 1994 Bill Clinton Newt Gingrich Reform Act, which was the Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Act, which brought about TANF and SNAP. It was meant to just throw people quickly back into a job. It wasn't meant to train them. It pushed the system away from training and education and towards just getting them back to work, which brought about what's called a revolving door. They go back to work, and shortly thereafter, if they get automated out of another job, well, then they're back on welfare again. So, with this in mind, again, we come back to the point that it is more efficient to educate them. So the system that stands and that has stood is a failure. There is no doubt about that. However, the second would be the Promise Program. President Obama brought this about, and it's going through state by state. And Illinois actually has presented this and possibly will be passing this. It is a last dollar scholarship, which means that after Pell Grant, after scholarships, after whatever funding you have, it just covers the gap. And it's only for a 2-year community college or for a trade school. It also can cover getting GEDs and job training, but it's more pushed towards just community colleges. Now, not everybody can go to a community college. Not everybody has that ability uh, for whatever reason. But this last dollar scholarship has problems, such as Robert Kletcher brought out in my paper, that it's a last dollar. It's just that. In other words, it covers a gap. Tennessee Promise Program has $356 million sitting by the wayside from the lottery that they imposed, that they brought about, and that is supposed to go towards education. And it's sitting there, and only 52 million is going into this Promise Program because of the fact that not enough people qualify. If your EFC, your expected family contribution, is zero, then that means that for a community college, the Pell Grant will generally cover everything. You really aren't going to receive anything. So it's only getting a small crack of people that are falling through. This is window dressing. This is nothing more than something to look good and look like you're doing something well, but it doesn't really do. The third is something like the Cal Works program, which is more comprehensive. It sets you up with a counselor. That counselor then assesses you, and then after that assessment, puts you into some form of a job training program, which is what most of my research has indicated would be the best thing to do.